Libby Malcolm from Advertising Energy has a foot in both camps, having freelanced as a web producer with numerous ad agencies and corporates since 1993. She joins me now to share some of the insight that 13 years in the industry have given her. Welcome, Libby.
Thank you, Teri. It's a pleasure to be here.
Libby, as the senior producer for Advertising Energy, what's the crux of your job?
The crux of what I do is I'm a linchpin between creatives and technical and marketing. And then I need to produce a creative result that's usable and navigable. My role is unique because I work with an advertising agency in that I produce a website from go to woe. So that will be everything from coming up with the strategy, why you would have a website, right the way through to building a brand that can be communicated through the website. It involves campaign work, social media work, and then site build as well.
How have you kept yourself at the forefront of these emerging technologies?
I read prolifically. So there's nothing, throughout my entire career I studied design initially. I never studied interactive media or web design at all. You need to be someone who really enjoys the challenge of something new. So I will read blogs prolifically, Smashing Magazine, Mashable, econsultancy.com. I subscribe to all of those and they send out alerts on a daily basis. So I read prolifically, and you need to, otherwise, because it does change. It changes all the time, and you need to tinker with it. You've got to be prepared to get in and play with it.
So you've worked with some big names over the years, the Commonwealth Bank, News Limited, for example, and you've also spent some years working in the UK. How has your international experience benefited you? Enormously.
I think personally I grew. I think I worked on corporates that have offices right around Europe and into the States. So I was based in London, but a lot of the clients were throughout Europe, so they'd come to London to get the expertise. And then, so how's that benefited? In so many ways. I think every market grows and develops at a slightly different rate. When I left Australia to go to the UK, we thought we were so progressive with what we were doing, and we were, but it was a different tangent to where the UK was. There was a lot of transactional banking happening in Australia. Marketing and branding on the internet was quite a low priority for the Australian market. This was as the dot-com boom was coming into play. And London, on the other hand, was very marketing savvy. There's a lot of brand work going on, and e-commerce was only just starting to emerge when we got there. So when I got there. So and it was, in fact, the combination of those two things that led to the dot-com boom happening, and all those brands being able to do what they did, as much as they went bust. But yeah, I guess having that top-down view of what's happening in different markets was really useful and enormous fun.
All right, Libby, so how do you think that the advertising industry will evolve alongside all these, the new paradigm of social media and e-commerce and all that sort of thing?
Definitely. I think it's like television in the 50s. They said cinema will go. It won't go. Advertising won't leave. Printed media won't go away. It just needs to find its place amongst the mix as the mix changes.
All right, and what advice can you give to someone who's embarking on a career as a freelancer and or someone who wants to get involved in the advertising industry?
I think my career, 4 kids, where I travelled the world and was a client services director and had quite a different remit to what my remit is now. For me, working for a small business early on in my career was excellent. It made me very multifaceted and made me explore lots of different areas of media, not just interactive media. And so I think working for a small business somewhere early on in your career is a really good thing to do, because you have to be a jack of all trades and you learn so much. Whereas in a major corporate, you get put into one little place and that's the job you do, and you don't get the exposure to all the different things that you could possibly have exposure to. I love working with my creative director at Ad Energy. He and I are on the same wavelength, and I really get what he needs to get from me, and I know what I need to get from the client to give him a really good brief, because any creative work really needs to come from a good, strong brief. Otherwise, it's just art, actually. It's not design. That's the difference.
Well, thank you very much, Libby. It's been a wonderful experience interviewing you, and thank you for sharing your insight and your wisdom with us. It's been wonderful. Thank you very much.
That's my pleasure. Happy to be here. Thank you.